Good morning. Have you ever wondered why babies hate tummy time? We always get told that babies need to have lots of tummy time and do tummy time because it's really important for them. And you might even have heard me going on about how important tummy time is. But ever wondered why they hate it? And trust me, a lot of children do. So I'm Bronwyn. I'm a pediatric physiotherapist specialising in children with early development, so 0 to sort of 3 years old. And what you do with your baby in the first year is really important for setting them up for their skills for the rest of their lives. So one of the things that happens a lot is, like I say, mums come to me, my baby hates tummy time, they'll only do it for a few minutes, so I've never really done it. So there's 4 reasons really why babies could hate tummy time. The first is that it's just been a little bit long. So ideally you'd be starting tummy time right from day one, and actually when your baby's born, your baby's put on front of your chest in a prone position, so in a tummy down position, and that is the early effective tummy time. So initially your baby is scrunched up, yeah, but what happens over time is that they'll stretch out and get used to being on the floor or on their bellies and stretch out. But sometimes what happens is we wait for sort of 8, 10, 12 weeks, even later, and by then your baby's sort of thinking, no, I'm not used to this, thank you very much, I don't like it, never done it, so I'm going to moan, thank you. And they've been used to being in other positions, either cushed up in your arm or in containers or in sort of equipment or anything like that. So that's the first reason, is that actually they just don't know what it's all about, and they're a little bit miffed that you're actually trying them in a funny position. The second reason, and this is this is sort of a follow-on reason from the first one, is that they might really struggle, they find it quite hard work. So if you've started tummy time really early with your baby, they've developed strength in the back of their neck to lift their heads around and to look around, and they know, they learn to see the world from that prone position. Now, if your baby is not used to tummy time and you suddenly put them down and they haven't yet developed the strength in the back of their necks and heads to lift their heads up and have a look around, it's really hard work, and they can't see what's going on. So it can be a little bit frustrating for them. So that's the second thing, is weakness. And there's ways of trying to accommodate that. So tummy time doesn't have to be face down, flat on the floor. It can be at a slightly inclined angle. It can be when you're carrying a baby. And I've got other posts that tell you how you can do tummy time. But an example is actually lying on your chest. So if you're lying back and you've got your baby on your chest, and doing it that way. So that's the second reason. So the first one is never experience it. First reason, never experience it. Second reason, not used to it and not strong enough to do it, not strong enough to be comfortable. So also what I'd suggest with that is actually keeping your little one's arms forwards over a rolled up towel or a cushion or something, so that they can actually lift their heads. It's not so hard, and they're not having to fight lifting their heads up with their arms behind them as well, because that can make it even harder. The third reason is then tightness in the neck muscles. So some babies are born with tightness in their neck, one side or the other. And what you want to do is really early on make sure that your baby's turning their head equally from one side all the way to the other as well. And then that they're not consistently in a car seat or a bouncer or in their beds with their heads turned to one side, because sometimes you get something called torticollis, which is a tight neck muscle. And then if you put your baby on their tummy and it's tight on one side, it could be that this is stretching a little bit and it's a bit uncomfortable. So really important to check that your baby's got full range of movement with their neck and that they're turning their head to both sides. You can actually, in a really young baby, gently just help them to turn their head over, just so you're sure that they are able to actually turn it both ways. And then the fourth reason is obviously if your baby has been born and has some difficulties or has had to have sort of surgery or any intervention, they could be a little bit tight and a little bit uncomfortable on their fronts for whatever reason. So if this is the case with you and your baby, always speak to your health visitor or your pediatrician. Specialised children's physiotherapists or occupational therapists should be able to help you, because it is really important that we get your baby on their tummy to be able to start developing the muscles in the back of the body, sensory sort of learning. It's really good for sensory development. It's really good for all sorts of things. So and it's quite hard to catch it up sort of at 10, 12, 14 months. You know, we'd much rather get them used to being in that position from a much earlier stage, because then crawling is a much more natural progression as well, and getting up. So I hope that's helpful. Reasons why babies hate tummy time: they're not used to it, they're weak in that position and they need to get strong. They might have tightness in their neck, or they might have tightness or discomfort in the front of their bodies because of other reasons. So hope that's helpful, and if you've got any concerns, as always, please email me, put a comment in, below, and I'll come through and answer them. Or yeah, let me know, get in touch somehow. Early Years Physio or Bronwyn Warner. Okay, thanks. If you enjoyed this video, please like it and share it with your friends who you think might need it. Bye.